Hello guys, and welcome to another video lesson, IELTS video lesson. I am Kris, and during this video class we will see how many body paragraphs we need in the essay in the IELTS task 2. A very brief introduction about me, what we usually do at the very beginning of each video. Again, my name is Kris, and I've been teaching IELTS for quite a long time now, for 25 years, and these are my credentials. Currently I teach for the IELTS School of Toronto, and at the IELTS School of Toronto I teach academic IELTS classes, general IELTS classes, one-on-one internet-based sessions, as well as one-on-one face-to-face sessions. So if you need my services, please do not hesitate to contact me. Before we talk about how many paragraphs, before we answer the question how many paragraphs you need to write in the body of the essay, let us see the important numbers in the IELTS task 2. The first thing is IELTS gives you 4 different types of essays, such as opinion essay, discussion essay, advantage and disadvantage, or solution to a problem. You have to write around 250 words in your essays. The examiners do not count the words one by one. There is no penalty if you write 240 words. There is no direct penalty. And you have the task 2, the weighting of task 2 is 66%, meaning task 2 is much more important than writing task 1. Task 2 accounts for 3/3, well, not 3/3, but, math is not my forte, I'm not very good at math. Let's say task 2 accounts for 66%, which means 2/3 actually, and task 1 accounts for 1/3 or 34% of your task. And the recommended time is 40 minutes in which you have to write the task. Examiners do use 4 main assessment criteria to assess your performance in writing task 1: task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy. These 3 criteria, we will cover them in other video lessons. So the focus of today's lesson will be task achievement. 3 questions examiners ask when they read your writing are: the first one, are all the parts of the task covered? So have you covered all the parts? All the parts, all is very important. Do you have enough ideas? And this will be the focus of this lesson. What are enough ideas? 2, 3 or 4 ideas. How many ideas do you need in IELTS? Are your ideas fully developed? So again, one of the questions, do you have enough ideas? And how many ideas do you need? 2 ideas, 3 ideas, or 4 ideas? Which also means, how many body paragraphs do you need? 2, 3, or 4. There are so many IELTS instructors, so many IELTS teachers, so many websites, IELTS websites, and each of those instructors, each of those teachers, they do express their own opinion. They write samples, the way based on their perspective. So according to them, how many paragraphs you need to write. For this essay, instead of expressing my own opinion, I have decided to use official IELTS material. So what we'll do, we'll use the IELTS scores guide. This is published by IELTS.org, so it's official. And we will see an example of a test taker who scores band 8. So basically what we'll do is we will discuss together, we will see together how many body paragraphs, how many ideas this guy is using, is having. And this is the reference point. You need to do something like this. So basically, don't take my word for it, don't take other teachers' word for it, but base yourself on the actual thing. So this is what you need to do. What we'll see together is what you need to do to score a band 8 according to official resources. This is the topic on which the test taker who was awarded a band 8 wrote the essay. I'll give you a very brief moment to read this topic. Once you read the essay topic that the IELTS gives you, it is a very good idea to turn this into a question. So, if IELTS gives you a statement, you turn that into a question. When you turn that into a question, do not add new words. All what you need to do is change the position. Put the verb in front of the subject. So the verb is are better prepared. Then are is the verb. So put it here. Are children who are brought up in families that do not have large amount of money better prepared to deal with the problems of adult life? So it is very, very good idea to start with the question. If you start with the question, you are doing two very important things. The first thing is you are making sure that you fully understood the topic, what IELTS has given you, and by so doing, you'll avoid going off topic. And the second thing, if you write a question like this, it is very easy to come up with ideas. So you have a question in front of you, and all what you're doing, you brainstorm for ideas. And that's what I wanted to do right now. So how many ideas do you think are enough to answer this question? Can you come up with some ideas? I'll give you a very brief moment for that. So think of how many ideas, and if possible, jot down, write down some ideas. Alright, it is okay in the real IELTS test to spend up to 5 minutes to understand the question, to understand the topic, this one here, to turn it into a question and to come up with ideas, to brainstorm. This is very, very important. This is actually the starting point. And let's see together now how many ideas the test taker who was given a band 8 has got. So this guy has got 4 ideas. This is idea number 1. Does this idea clearly answer the question? If the idea clearly answers the question, you're doing a good job, because the idea, your opinion here, is very relevant. If the idea does not answer the question, in that case, most likely you would lose points, because the examiner will classify this idea as irrelevant. Idea number 2. Again, does this idea clearly answer the question? It does. That's why it is a very relevant idea. Idea number 3. And I am asking you the same question because this is very, very important. One of the reasons why test takers lose marks is because they don't write relevant ideas. They don't write sentences or thoughts that are connected to the question. And this sentence is clearly connected to the question. It is fully answering the question. And idea number 4, again, it is very relevant because it's clearly related to the question. So what we've done so far, we have seen that it is very, very important to start with the question. It is very, very important to brainstorm for ideas before you start writing. And in order to score a high band score in IELTS, you need 4 ideas, which will give you 4 body paragraphs. This is what the examiner is saying. The ideas are very well organized and paragraphing is used appropriately throughout. So we've got 4 ideas, and what happens is idea number 1 becomes topic sentence of body paragraph number 1. So this is the body sentence, the topic sentence. You simply copy and paste from here. So in the topic sentence, you need to say something. What this test taker is saying here is these children are better prepared because they are exposed to problems of adult life at a very early age. That's the topic sentence. In the topic sentence, we usually write general words such as problems or consequences or benefits. So these are words, very broad words, and it is in the second sentence. In this case, this is part of the sentence, but it can also be a second sentence where you explain what do you mean by these problems. And the problems are explained here. So in the second sentence of the paragraph, it is a good idea to clearly explain in practical examples, by giving practical examples, what do you mean? In this case, problems, surviving on a low income, on a low family income, or sacrificing luxuries for essential items. So this is the body paragraph, 1 topic sentence, then in the rest, you show why and how. So again, why and how, and if possible, why you think like this, and how this happens, what happens as a result of this, what is the consequence of the result of this. And again, it is very, very important to use practical examples, examples that the examiner knows, examples that the examiner relates to. When you use practical examples, you facilitate the understanding and you make the paragraph very coherent. So idea number 1 becomes the topic sentence of paragraph number 1. Idea number 2 becomes the topic sentence of body paragraph number 2. And here it comes. I'll give you a very brief moment to read the paragraph and to understand what is going on. So in the topic sentence, you always say something. And on purpose, I have the question here so that you see, is the paragraph related to the question? Is the paragraph answering the question? So a very brief moment, try to read this body paragraph and try to understand how many sentences and what is each sentence doing. What is the writer doing in each sentence? Body paragraphs should be around 3 to 4 sentences, and again, in sentence number 1, you say something. In sentence number 2 and in sentence number 3, you explain further. It's a good idea to use a why and how approach. So why do you think this happens and how it actually happens? And if possible, give practical examples again, like in this case. I am emphasizing, I'm saying it again, practical examples are very important because they improve your coherence. They make your text easy to be understood by the examiner. Idea 1 becomes a topic sentence of paragraph number 1. Idea 2 becomes a topic sentence of paragraph number 2. Idea 3 becomes a topic sentence of paragraph number 3. Let's see now how the test taker has developed the paragraph. So topic sentence here, and then in the rest of the paragraph, what you need to do again, why and how, and if possible, give practical examples like these examples. Everybody knows Bill Gates, everybody knows Samsung, everybody knows Apple. So these are very good examples because I fully understand what you say when you mention Bill Gates. Again, I'll give you a very brief moment. Read this paragraph. Question number 1 you need to answer. Is this paragraph related? Is this paragraph answering the question? And question number 2, try to understand how many sentences are in this paragraph and what is each sentence doing. Again, very focused body paragraphs, 3 to 4 sentences. Sentence number 1 is the topic sentence, which clearly answers, which is clearly related to the focus of the essay, to the question, to your question. Body paragraph number 2, so sentence number 2 in the body paragraph, in any body paragraph, and sentence number 3 and 4, they explain further, they go deeper, and they show the reader why and how this happens. And again, it is very, very important to use practical examples. You need a minimum of 2 practical examples in your essay, but it's a good idea to write practical examples in every single paragraph. And this is the idea for paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 4 in an opinion essay, it can be a counter-argument. A counter-argument, so we are talking about problems, which is not a good thing actually. A counter-argument, how a counter-argument works. First, you acknowledge what can be, like for poor children, what can be one difficulty, what can be an issue. Acknowledge that. After that, explain why that is a difficulty. And at the very end, say that no matter what, this difficulty is not important compared to the advantages that those kids have. So again, in a counter-argument paragraph, first acknowledge one disadvantage. So you give 3 advantages and 1 disadvantage for the same point. After that, explain why is that a disadvantage. After you have explained, show the reader that this disadvantage is very minor compared to the advantages. The advantages outweigh actually the disadvantages. And again, I'll give you a very brief moment to actually read this paragraph. Okay, so a summary of all the things that we saw together during this video class. It is a good idea to have 4 ideas in an opinion essay, which will give you 4 body paragraphs. This is particularly a must-do thing if you are looking at a band 7 or above band 7 in IELTS. So body paragraph number 1 is related to, so idea number 1 here, body paragraph number 1, idea number 2, body paragraph number 2, idea number 3, body paragraph number 3, and idea number 4, which can be either another idea, so you can have 4 ideas to support one point of view, or it can be 3 ideas plus 1 counter argument. If you write a counter argument and if you write it properly, this is a very good indication of a very high band score in IELTS. So 4 body paragraphs. One thing very important, just write 1 idea per body paragraph. Do not write 2 ideas because your writing will be very low in coherence. And a summary of how to write each body paragraph. Sentence number 1 of a body paragraph should be the topic sentence. It is very important the topic sentence to be directly linked to the question IELTS is asking. Sentence number 2, explain why you think this is the case. So sentence number 2 can be either why or how, and sentence number 3, if possible, give an example, practical example. In this case, cell phone is a practical example. Babysit, walk dogs, these are all practical examples. Sometimes we need a concluding sentence, not always. The body paragraph can be all right, just in 3 sentences, if you write it in 3 sentences. But sometimes we need to remind the reader of the main focus, and in this case we're talking about preparation, better preparation in their adult lives. So the conclusion of the body paragraph. But again, you don't always need a conclusion. And this is how the whole body paragraph looks, all the sentences together. Very important, write focused body paragraphs with 3 to 4 sentences and just 1 main idea, 1 idea per paragraph. And this has brought us to the very end of this IELTS video lesson. I hope you found it useful. Let me know if you found it useful. And again, IELTS preparation classes. I teach IELTS preparation classes at the IELTS School of Toronto. We are located in Toronto, Yonge and Eglinton area, and we teach classes, one-on-one sessions, internet, as well as face-to-face sessions. And if you need my help, please be aware of the fact that I can help you with your IELTS preparation. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching this video. In case you need to get in touch with me, here is how you can contact me. And this brings us to the very end of this video lesson. Goodbye from Kris.